kind of threaten if another third did go up as well. So Sase really doing great there, just committing, knowing his game plan and sticking to it. Looks like we're going to go ahead and get set up for the next map. Antigua Shipyard has been picked. Cross maps. So we'll go ahead and pull up the scorecard really quick, get these overlays ready to go in. That way we need to go ahead and give Sase 1-0 in the lead, and make sure they get become red and blue so no one is confused. Oops. Red and blue, please. Uh-oh.
They're not in the they're not in the lobby.
Yeah,
man.
we should probably invite them. That's a good idea. So again, guys, hopefully everything's sounded well in the last game. I don't know if you got any tweets or anything about it, but please let us know if sound or anything needs to be fixed, and we'll go ahead and get that dealt with. Let me go ahead.
It is really loud, guys.
Yeah, it is
at this
loud
place,
here.
and like I feel like I have to shout, but realistically, I think you guys can hear me just fine. But let's go ahead and ask our players to go red and blue this time.
Got it. Okay, so there we go. Sase going red. And there we go. Now it's ready. Thank you, thank you. Ready?
All right, so looks like we're going to go ahead and get everything underway, guys. This is the MLG Winter Championships here.
Just championship bracket.
And this is the championship bracket, round number 1 with Ganzi versus Sase. We're going to go ahead and kick on this game. The countdown has begun. Hope you guys are ready. Hope you guys are enjoying this. Keep in mind, guys, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and tweet at me or Robin, and we'll be able to answer your questions as well as address any stream issues whatsoever. So let's go ahead and hop straight into this game here. Ganzi versus Sase. Sase has a 1-0 lead over his opponent, but go ahead and introduce our players here, Robin.
I would love to, man. Here in the bottom right corner of Antigua Shipyard is going to be Quantic's very own Sase. Remember, it's his 4th cross positions here for MLG, so in the top left corner is going to be Ganzi himself, formerly of Team Slayers, currently all by himself. At the moment, looking for a 4 team, really wanting to put a show on. And he actually played really well last game. It just didn't work out for him as well as he had hoped. And he's currently down 0-1, but he's definitely a player that can contend and get himself into an ace match, make it a 1-1 series. So we'll see what he plans to do on this map. This map is so interesting in terms of it could be macro-oriented, or of course, there's always a possibility of a lot of proxy shenanigans that could be happening.
Yep. I mean, Antigua Shipyards, the biggest thing that stands out about it is that it's really easy to take a third base. If you look at the map structure, even go ahead and look at Ganzi, you can see that he can take this natural really easily, but more importantly, down here in the bottom right section of his natural, he can defend it extremely easily with siege tanks. If he just sets up bunkers, he's going to be able to force Protoss in small chokes. Zealots won't be able to get good surface areas along with Stalkers, so it's really easy to get your third base. But after that, it's kind of a fight for the center of the map, or a kind of outlier basis where Protoss becomes really vulnerable to drops, and Terran becomes really vulnerable to War Prism drops as well. So the whole idea is who can really play a full, thorough game. It's not necessarily just about macro. There's room for 2 base timings. There's also room for cheese. There's also so this map is really well liked across the community. I really like the fact that they chose it for game number 2.
Yeah, a lot of diversity. Really, map control is so huge on this map. Team players even building supply depots up here in the top right corner just so they can have that vision in case War Prism drops come, like you just stated. It's really, really important here. And actually, Ganzi, he's going to be doing a 2-Rax here, hiding. Rax down here. If any pathing comes from a probe, if it was a scout coming from Sase, of course would move, or would miss it actually, unless he actually clicked over here in the top right corner. So, interesting here. Going to be going for that 2-Rax. Question is, will Sase be ready for it? Is he going to send this probe out for a scout, and he's actually thrown outside of an escort? He should be good to go.
Well, a couple things here. Against the 2-Rax, a Protoss really, really needs the force fields early on, just because you can retreat up the ramp, and as long as you get a force field up constantly, you can have Stalkers and really outrange them. The second option is simply to try to see if you can meet the Marines early on and cut off, and like prevent them from being able to get up your ramps. Because the idea is once the Marines get up, it's over. Like, you're not going to be able to really hold them because there's going to be too many, especially if Ganzi brings an SCV to build a bunker. So we'll see whether or not Sase is able to really hold us up, but for now he is going for the safer route. Again, if there's any indication of what he likes to do, he goes for 2 Zealots. He already finished 1, he's actually going for the second, then gets 2 Sentries and expands. So this is actually very similar to Naniwal's Protoss vs Terran build, where he goes for a Sentry expand. It's very advanced and very safe, but it's extremely defensive and 2 base oriented, so we'll see whether or not Sase's be able to hold this off.
Well, first SCV does make his way straight into the main. He's going to take a little bit of HP off here. Going to go get the full-on scout. We'll get an idea of what exactly the opponent is going to have available. Kibble's going off on gameplay stream over here. I hear him just yelling. 2 Zealots here ready to go, and there goes that first Sentry. Now, will he be here in time? The Marines are actually clumping up outside these rocks. Interesting position here. Actually, did he see those Marines? Barely out of vision. Wow.
Yeah.
Great placement there. What is he following up with? Is he going to go ahead and group all his Marines here and then move on all at once? It certainly looked like he's keeping control of that Zanaga as
He's
well.
expanding.
And expanding behind it.
Wow.
Interesting opening here.
So Ganzi opening up as if he's playing a Terran versus Zerg kind of style. We haven't seen the 2 racks opening too often, but I guess it's just light pressure. He may just try to opt to force a cancel on the Nexus.
I think the plan was, if a Zealot Stalker opening came, he would be able to close in on the Zealot Stalker and kill it off, which is actually pretty huge for Protoss early on to lose that first Stalker. I think that's his whole entire plan here. Just keep these 3 Marines hidden in case first couple units did push out, and then he can go ahead and clean them up pretty easily. Interesting. I like it, actually. So,
yeah.
Manson a little over halfway done at the moment, and a probe did try to go in for a scout. 5 Marines will dispatch them, and a bunker is now going down as well. So, both players, again, playing very, very defensively at the moment, and really want to go for a stronger mid-game push.
Well, we do see that Sase, again, his 2 Zealot, 2 Sentry expand has been proven really well. He's actually going the same exact route as he did, get a couple Stalkers as well, go for 2 more additional gates, so he's doing fantastic. Let's go ahead and check on Ganzi's follow-up, as, again, the 2 racks doesn't really hurt him that much. In fact, he actually opened up very similar to last game, except that he made 2 bears instead of 1 with the gasless fast expand. And he's transitioning with a factory yet again, so he's actually going the same exact mid-game build, but this time he has a lot more pressure now. Is Sase going to try to even go for a 3-gate pressure again after the expand? And more importantly, will Ganzi be prepared for it, Robin? Let's go ahead and check his natural ramp, as he does lose a couple Marines, and this time he's learned. A second bunker is coming up.
Second bunker on the way. Will he be pulling off any SCVs? It certainly looks like it here. They come. Stalkers will be moving on first, and it looks like the Marines are going to go ahead and deter that away. Almost losing 1 there, taking on a lot of HP. But the second bunker.
Second bunker's huge.
Really screams, I can't push into this. It's not going to happen. So.
Well, it's 400 hit points, which is like an additional 10 Marines worth of HP that you can take damage. More importantly, it can be repaired, so you really can't do anything with that. And also, it just picks up surface air, so you can't walk by. But
he actually scattered those 3 Marines and brought him straight into the main here. Actually,
he chased them all the way back to the natural. So Sase is doing a pretty good job catching everything. Let's go ahead and look at the worker count, though, because the big thing is if you take 2 barracks to expand, you're going to have a little bit less SCVs, and that's exactly what it is. Now, Ganzi's following it up this time with a reactor and a tech lab, and he's actually going to transition directly to Starport. What do you think about this choice of transition this time?
Nice, dude. Looks like he wants to go straight into Banshee, which actually is a bit of a delayed Banshee compared to normal, but it's actually thrown off a lot of players as of late. I've seen a lot of Terran players using it. Again, Banshee's oh, Wood Prism on the way. Ooh, nice. Banshee's, again, just one of these units that are going to do damage no matter what. It's whether or not your opponent's going to go ahead and hold them off. Now, the question is going to go ahead and throw in Cloak. We've seen really late Cloak Banshee as well, which can throw someone off, like Sase here is going for a faster Warp Prism rather than an Observer. So, first, Warp Prism on the way. Is he going to create an Observer? And there's on the way. So, hopefully we won't be seeing any Cloak, because, again, he'll be able to hold it pretty nicely.
And so it looks like we see Sase moving out here. Now, the most important... Oh, man, there's the factory's about to float directly over it. And the Warp Prism and the factory have kind of an awkward situation where the Warp Prism turns directly around now. Will Sase... I mean, this shouldn't stop Sase, actually, from harassing. In fact, it can threaten Ganzi from ever poking out here. In fact, Ganzi's going out with the medevac, has a drop on the way. So we're talking earlier about the dangers of drops, both from medevacs and Warp Prisms, and both players are effectively using it. Now, what Sase wants to do is force field the SCVs before they can escape here. Does get 1 down, but will he be able to escape? He does land a couple of them, and some of the SCVs here should drop. It looks like we're going to see no actual real response here. No follow-up warp-ins here as a drop from Ganzi is about to land at the main base of Sase as well. Yeah, so it looks like a couple of SCs worked it off there. Now, here's where the real damage is going to come in. 1 Stalker is here, only here for Sase, but he didn't warp in, like you said, so he should have a warp in available. We'll take out a couple of probes. Will he get a 3rd as it does leave the gas? No, there we go. Now taking it out. It's going to go straight for the pylon. Yes, he sure does. At the same time, it looks like there's a warping going down, getting ready for that 3rd. But probes now coming on back, and he gets the pylon, an unpowered Cybernetic Core, and the robotics. Oh my gosh, it's actually really, really huge, as you just stated. Wow. That's huge delay, Robin, just because the Colossus was halfway done, and more importantly, it would have finished. That delays the timing because you start your thermal lance and you'll be able to line it up accordingly. Great play from Ganzi, blocking the 3rd as well with the factory. He's delaying everything of Sase right now. That seems to be his game plan right here. He's not trying to do too crazy damage, doing indirect damage by delaying things. Gonna go and get a drop here and do a little bit of poking. We'll go ahead and pick up. Is he gonna save the Marine? Oh, Phil is done. Medevac will be pulling on back, and again, it's just being a threat at the moment. He's kind of doing what he was doing last game, just keeping Sase in his base. Don't allow him to push out in any way, shape, or form. Factory will get away just fine as well, and it looks like the Observer does have control of the middle of the map, so he will see the push coming on the way here for Ganzi. Checking into his upgrades. Currently 0-0, but +1 will be finished up, but
Colossi will be here with Thermal Lance finishing off as well, so he should be okay in terms of holding this off. Area effect damage is the best way to hold off Marine Marauders.
Yeah, in general, Protoss, if they can, or sorry, looks like we see a drop here in the main base. Actually does die, which is a huge amount of supply, but more importantly, Sase is not protecting the third. Now, the way Protoss was trying to set up was looked like he was going to get up a third base, so that's why Ganzi wanted to shut that down before it became an actual option for harvesting resources. So we see that Sase does lose 3 pylons, does get supply block. Now, actually, Ganzi might be trapped here. He's actually just going to ditch some of his units here. He might try to see if he can snipe a Colossus, but he shouldn't actually get it with good control as Sase does kill it off. Now, we're talking earlier about upgrades, Robin. Now, Terran wants to be at least 1 weapon up in terms of armor. So if the Protoss at 1 armor, they want to be at least 2 plus 2. And so Ganzi had this really interesting timing where he actually could have really punished Protoss before he really got a huge amount of Colossus or a huge amount of units, because you can see Sase's powering up, but Ganzi pulled back because he realized actually he didn't have a good position, so he's actually going to have to reset, try to see if he can take a third or at least gear up for something, because it's very clear that Sase wants to take a third base, and it's a question whether or not Ganzi's going to allow Sase to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he might be changing up his game plan here, actually. He's throwing out 4 more gateways as well. Compared to the 3 already has in his main. He might want to get a little aggressive here, maybe go for a bit of a 2-base timing attack while following with his third. It's got 2 Colossus on the field, going to be having a third as well. The drop coming straight into the main, going to go ahead and stem and deal with these Stalkers, and actually that beastly Stalkers, Marauders just shred right through them. Looks like he will clean up the units that were on the low ground there, and the Colossus will be able to step up into the high ground and help deal with that as well. But is he going to get his third up, or is he going to go ahead and go with the upgrades? Hallucination about to finish up, 1-1 about to finish up as well. There is a probe station here, but he's been constantly have to warp in units to deal with these harassments, so he's never ever actually thrown it down. Very, very curious as to what Sase plan here, as he is actually throwing down another pylon as well.
Ah, so, okay. So we see that, first of all, Ganzi's doing exactly what he does all the time, which is drop, harass, multitask, pull him apart. But more importantly, Sase is defending, and he's actually not going to take the third at all. He's going for the safer option of getting a strong core army off 2 base. Now, we do see the drop of the natural, still picking off some probes here. But more importantly, we see no attempt to actually take a third. We see Immortals being chrono boosted out. We see Stalkers. No more probes are being made. Now, if Protoss wants to get third base, they need a lot of probes. But we see that Sase is actually down to 38. So he's going to go for a huge 2 base all in. And remember, he still has that Warp Prism to bring reinforcements as well to even draw attention. Ganzi being so annoying with this drop, but Sase doesn't care. He's moving out across the center of the map here, Robin.
Yeah, sure is pushing out. That 1-1 has finished up, but 2, actually, level 2's been started up for Ganzi here. Gonna go ahead and get in the middle of the map here. He wants to get to a point where he can get a concave, maybe separate these units if they do come around this pillar here. So, is he gonna be ready for it? He's gonna have 4 Vikings on the field here, and get ready to engage. 1 Zealot will be falling. There's the probe. Oh, nice hallucination here. I like how he's putting it in front of the army. Nice use there. A lot of players actually never use them. Yeah, that's a meat buffer there. It just takes a lot of damage there and allows your Colossi that are real to output a lot of damage. More units being, oh my gosh, so smart from Sase, but the Viking actually saw the units being hallucinated in. Guardian Shield has been popped. There goes the concave here for Ganzi, and here comes, this is scary, man.
There's a lot of force fields popping up. Ganzi forced to pull all of his SCVs, but a superior concave here from Ganzi. Will it matter here? There's still a lot of sentries left. He could follow with more force fields, but Sase looks like he might have enough here to break through. It depends. More SCVs are being pulled. Ganzi realizing he may need more. A Banshee coming in, which actually might be the huge savior of Ganzi's rest of the army. Keep in mind, Sase lost a lot of probes before this battle, but Ganzi's also losing a lot of workers. This battle is so close. Supplies are still really close as well. 52 to 48, and GG, Sase taps out here, which does mean looks like Ganzi will take game number 2 and tie the series. We're going to go to game number 3. Robin's getting a little bit of a cue from our producers, but real quick, that was a fantastic, fantastic hold from Ganzi, and the reason why it was his concave, his patience, and you can see that he's like, I'm going to pull this many SUVs, saying, oh crap, I need a little bit more, and that's what you need to do. Sometimes you recognize an all-in is coming. Ganzi set up the strong position. You could tell he originally was going to fight down the ramp, but you don't want to do it. I call it the Diamond of Doom. When you fight between those cracks, Protoss can force fields, section off your army, and completely dismantle you. Ganzi with a fantastic hold.
Yeah, and he used that ramp to his advantage. I think you and I actually had a conversation about it a couple weeks ago. Any game that you play, you never really want to attack up a ramp. You lose a couple of free shots on top of you. And I even think I saw a scanner there as well. He just didn't go for the hallucinated. He saw the hallucinated units because that Viking came in just in time as the Colossi, which was really huge. Had he not seen that, he may have not done the scan. A lot of actually Sase may have pushed through there because those units would have buffered a lot of that damage. So really a great hold. Great harassment too, man. Those drops, we couldn't even really stay on top of it. He was in the main, he was in the natural, just constantly taking probes left and right, left and right. And I like every time he took what he could and then pulled on back. And never ever committed fully. Pulled back when he needed to when he saw units coming his way, which again, it set himself up to do more drops as well. So we're going to set up for game number 3, guys. This is going to be the ace match. Winner will be, of course, advancing. The other player who loses, of course, will be going to the losers bracket of MLG. Gonna be it's a tough road to start out that way in the losers bracket, but we've seen players do it before. So waiting for our players to be set up and ready to go, making ourselves